You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Stugotz, have you ever seen, in all the years we've been doing this, me and Roy argue the way that we did before the show today? Me and Roy have an argument?
No. To be honest with you, no.
I don't think I've ever argued with Roy about anything.
Right.
His temperament coming in today was strange. I thought it would be better with the Panthers up 3-1, but it's Roy. And so he kind of stomped in, and I drove past him as he was walking in, and I just shouted Roy to the rescue because he wasn't even supposed to work today. But the way that game went, he was needed here because
he was forced into action.
Because everything has escalated in that series. Marchand is out because Bennett punched him in the face, and it's like, and they're saying before the game, Boston saying, well, we're going to have to take out their top guy, and then the next thing you know, Reinhardt is getting hit so hard on the first shift of the night that both guys are losing their sticks, and so I say to Roy, you pulled one out of your ass there last night, and his response was a dismissive and condescending, did you watch the game?
I love that.
They dominated, Dan.
It's a staple of sports radio when someone is trying to give their opinion on a game and the other person who's watched every game for the last decade says, did you watch the game? Dan, did you watch the game?
Stugotz, yes, I watched the game.
Sure?
Yes, I'm positive that I watched the game. But I also love that Stugotz neuters these kinds of conversations when you come back at him with, did you watch the game? And then the answer is no, I didn't watch the game.
I'm by no means a hockey expert, but the Panthers cheated yesterday.
Huh.
That seemed like goalie interference to me. We'll ask Katie Nolan about that. But it did.
You're going to ask a Bruins fan about that?
Here's the thing. I don't know the rules. So it just...
I know that was cheating.
It just seemed like, they challenged it, and then they started complaining about it, and they said they wouldn't have challenged it, and finally you just get into one of these situations, and it's a weird situation to be in, where they're saying, I wasn't allowed to do my job. Wasn't allowed to do my job because Bennett pushed Coyle, and Swayman didn't have his ability to be a goaltender.
That's a regular season penalty, possibly that cross-check.
Yeah, but switch sweaters, Roy, and tell me you didn't feel differently. You know what I mean? Sweaters is what we call jerseys in hockey.
Thank you, Billy.
Yes.
And what Roy is saying, there are certain penalties you call in the regular season. They don't apply to the postseason.
I understand. I didn't need the translation.
Okay.
I get
in
what
case you did.
I know what that argument is, but I'm
Because you watched the game.
Because in the regular season they would call them, but in the postseason they shouldn't because it's hidden stakes.
Yeah, right.
Lord Stanley.
All of this was happening, and several people in the room were insulted because Jessica wasn't interested. She did not watch the game because she was consumed by what I'm going to call a Caitlin Clark documentary, even though it wasn't a Caitlin Clark solely documentary.
That you and Stugotz were both in.
What?
Really? Huh.
I was in it. I saw that Stugotz was in it.
Oh, you were.
I was in it?
Names on the show.
Well, but I didn't. I just saw a clip.
Sort of.
I had a clip. I saw a clip that made me really wince of Stugotz. I didn't realize I was also in that clip, though.
You're both in it.
Huh. What was my clip?
Congrats.
Do you guys have that? We'll get that and play it for the audience.
It was a good take.
I've said nothing but glowing things about
No,
Caitlin
that's
Clark.
not true. That's not what ended up in the documentary.
Really?
That wasn't about her, but was about her. Or was only about her, but wasn't supposed to only be about her.
Oh, boy.
What did Dan say?
It was something about greatness.
Oh, good.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second. But you haven't seen this?
Skated.
No.
You haven't seen. Okay. You were not a shining example of how to cover that sport. You shouldn't have been in that documentary.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start. Same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB de CV. Copyright 2024. Proximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
It looked like goaltender interference to me.
Right.
In that the goaltender was interfered with.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the game?
Did you watch the game at all?
In the regular season, it would have been, but this is postseason hockey.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Dan, what they're trying to say is there are certain calls that you don't call in the postseason that you call in the regular season. Right. That's one of those calls.
Thank you.
Heightened stakes.
Thank you.
This needs to be stated, though, because this is one of the rare ones where the Panthers did get lucky. I know Panther fans are going to say, like, oh, whatever, in the regular season.
Did you watch the game?
This is the rare one, though, where the Panthers got a clear advantage with that call.
Right.
But they also dominated the game. Like, that is not the reason they won this game.
Well, it is the reason they tied it, though.
Yeah.
But if you look at the shots on goal, the whole series and last night, the Panthers are dominating this series.
Understood, but Marchand is their postseason leading scorer, and he's not in the game because Bennett punched him in the face. And that's something that happened. It's one of the reasons that people are going to grow to hate the Panthers.
Well, keep in mind, that was going to be a late hit. He was delivering a hit on Sam Bennett. He saw it, tried to reverse hit, and then...
And punched him in the face.
Danny Melrose. I mean, I love this. Hockey expert.
Are you aware that the Boston Bruins, I don't think you want to go toe-to-toe with me on this, given how little you're paying attention to these games.
I don't.
Are you aware that the Boston Bruins are the worst team in the history of the sport at being down 3-1?
Nope.
They are 0-25 when they play games down 3-1.
Damn it, are they due?
No.
I'm completely neutral. In fact, I probably lean Panthers because I hate Boston sports. A little dicey, guys.
Yeah.
Did
you watch the game?
No.
Good analysis.
That's the question.
Okay,
Did you watch the game?
Yeah,
awesome.
A little dicey with a moan is pretty good analysis. You don't often see, though, the situation. Roy, I'm correct on this, where Pavel Zacha is saying before this game, he's saying, we're going to take out their top guys.
Well, that was the motivation coming into this game because they know the series is over. Like, that is all Panthers. It's over.
Well, hold on a second. Coming into the game, the season wasn't over. It was 2-1. They could have tied up the series.
And if not for a cheating goal,
Exactly.
they'd still be playing right now.
Did
There's
you watch
the
the game?
Yeah.
Right. Did you?
No, the Panthers have been so dominant in this game that they've basically taken the soul from them. So it's over. Like, they're going to end it on Tuesday.
I love a good Pavel on a hockey team.
You need one.
Yeah, you need to have one. You do. Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you need a Pavel on your hockey team? And speaking of things, getting things wrong or not watching enough of the games, can we just go back for a second to basketball, Stugotz? Because the Denver Nuggets, this is a good day, incidentally, for WFAT.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. The Knicks were down by 43 at one point yesterday.
Yep. The season's over. Give out the phone number. Enjoy a 20 share today, boys.
WFAT. We'll get to that in a moment. But just so you know, in being down 43 points in that game, combined in all of their games since April 2nd, the Knicks have only been down 40. In all of their games since April 2nd, because they play close games.
Yep.
They were down 43 in that one. And if you go back to the beginning of last month and take all of their games, at the end of all of their games, they're down a total of 40.
It's amazing. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jess said it last week. You felt like Game 2 was the apex of the Knicks season and will never get that good again. And I'm not certain she's wrong about that because, Dan, when they lost Game 3, and boy, did they have Game 3 on the road, when they lost that game, I said to myself, I don't think the Knicks can bounce back. I think the series is over. I mean, I feel like the Pacers are going to win this series.
So wait. Up 2-1, you thought the series was over in favor of Indiana?
When they didn't close out Game 3, I don't know if you watched that game or not, but I did.
I'm
when they
not
didn't
certain
close
he's
out,
wrong.
Yes, when they didn't close out Game 3, they had every opportunity to do it. They could have been up 3-0. Instead, it was 2-1. The Pacers blow them out in Game 4. Predictable. But I'm telling you, when they didn't get it done in Game 3, I said to myself, season's over.
The only reason it's not predictable, Stugotz, is because the Knicks only play close games. And even though they're undermanned, I've never heard anyone say, in my history covering sports, have such a bad relationship with their team that when a 2-0 series turns to 2-1, you're saying it's over even though you're up 2-1.
Yes.
Like, you have been scarred, dude. If that, I have never heard that before from anybody, even though people are very comfortable proclaiming series over.
There's no OG. The Knicks were 26-5 when OG was in their lineup since they acquired him from the Raptors. They're 13-17 in games that OG has missed. He is out. I don't know if he'll be back for this series. I do not feel good about the Knicks' chances moving forward here, Dan. I don't.
Okay, that's an odd take, but because they're favored and they're the better seed, and Halliburton is still hurt, even though he seems to be shooting better.
Right.
But I will get to that in a second, but let's go ahead and play the sounder on a couple of people who were really loud wrong last week.
Gasbag of the week.
You guys worked real hard on that, huh? Like a lot of production work on that?
Gasbag of the week.
All right, so we've got two nominees
Says it all,
for you here. We've got both of them are off the Timberwolves Nuggets series. If you went to sleep early last night, one of my favorite things in sports is when a champion behaves like a champion and reminds you that it is a champion. And Jokic going for 35, 7, and 7 on the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and putting him in foul trouble, getting him 5 fouls.
Aaron Gordon didn't miss all game. Jamal Murray in the third quarter was lights out. He was incredible.
Well, wait a minute. Like the end of that first half might be unlike anything I've ever seen.
Crazy.
In terms of eight points in 20 seconds, and one of them with Jamal Murray being what can be described as the most difficult shot ever made in basketball. Like rolling to your left, falling out of bounds, staying in bounds 3/4 of the court away from the basket. Like, you may argue that there is a shot that you've seen that's better in the history of basketball on degree of difficulty, but I'm going to say I can put that shot against anybody.
I mean, Jordan over Elo comes to mind. Jordan against Byron Russell at Utah comes to mind.
All easy shots.
Jordan, the layup against the Lakers comes to mind. All 6 threes he hit in the first half in game 1 against the Lakers.
Okay, you're not really making a good argument against what I'm saying. You're just reciting Jordan's highlights, which is an excellent way to win a basketball argument.
The shot against Georgetown to win Carolina a national championship. I mean, MJ.
Yes, thank you. But before we get to the video of that, can you give me the Gasbag of the Week nominees, their analysis after Denver fell down 0-2 against Minnesota? Our first nominee is Colin Cowherd. Chris Cody?
Out west, the story is the defending champs will not be repeat champs. That series, it's over. Denver's got no answers. And what I'm watching feels like what I'm watching is 2 talented teams, but one with Ant is super hungry, relentless, aggressive, and playing like an underdog. And the other team, Denver, is lethargic, starts slow, now plays from too far behind, is a little arrogant, is a little listless, and by the time they look up, they trail by 16. It's just, I think Denver's cooked. I think it's over.
The way he said it's over the first time had better condescension than the way that he said it the second time.
Great take at the time, though.
Well, it's easy. It's an easy take when a team has lost 2 home games.
Gasbag of the week.
What happened, Stugotz? Did a piece of your body just fall off? Like a rusty piece of your body that needed
but that's coming soon.
WD-40?
I mean, the Dead and Company, they're coming up this Thursday. That's coming soon.
What
Body
was
parts
that sound?
It was a computer charger.
Let's play the other sound here. Who is this, Chris Cody? Who else is on?
Bill Simmons.
Okay, let's same series. Bill Simmons.
I think Minnesota's gonna sweep Denver. I think the series. I've been through these a few times as a fan, and I think this one's done. And basketball is about to change as we know it.
He's been through this, so he knows.
He wrote the book.
He did actually write the book. Let's go back to that shot for a second, though, Stugotz, and in general, the last 9 seconds of the first half last night, because it really was magical. I don't know, and this is the criticism Minnesota's going to get, because you do have a team with championship savvy, pedigree, resume, all of it, playing against a team that people expect, because of their youth, and Anthony Edwards is 22, to fall apart and do dumb things in big moments because they haven't seen any of the moments like this before, where Denver went through a whole season of them last year, conquered. But you're up. You're down in the game, and Anthony Edwards has just hit a 3. And from what I'm looking at there with 9 seconds left, they have the ball until the end of the half. I don't see a shot clock. So basically, this game, the worst you can do in this situation, the worst you can do if you're a young, smart team looking to beat a champion is not score and go into the half with the score the same way it looks right now. Instead, you have to sit in the halftime locker room with this because Anthony Edwards goes into the paint too early.
Edwards lost the ball with a turnover. Nice Denver D. Porter at the other end, and he tries and he gets it to go. Beating the clock. Court length. That's intercepted. Murray good at the go. Got it.
So good.
Do you guys have the still image, the still photographic image of Murray? And I'm really stunned, Stugotz, that you have not yet just shouted, Murray! Because this would be the time to do it after making that shot.
I was about to do it.
Kevin Harlan is screaming in the face of Jamal Murray, who isn't looking at Kevin Harlan, incidentally. He's looking at Reggie Miller, who is stupefied. Like the shot from the other angle of Reggie Miller was of him completely stupefied, the way you would theatrically in a movie if you were acting for a part, act stupefied. You need to get the part where he's back in his chair like this. Like if he's being blown back by a wind tunnel of disbelief because he can't believe that Jamal Murray just made that shot. And Jamal Murray is exceedingly pleased with himself because he knows, an anonymous executive said this, Stugotz, and I thought it was pretty spot on. He knows that he shouldn't be playing in these games. He should have been suspended, and an anonymous executive has been quoted as saying Adam Silver was protecting the TV ratings, was protecting that series, doesn't want Denver knocked out early, and so they didn't suspend him when he threw all that stuff on the court after game 2 in frustration because he was
a heating pad.
Yeah, well, it was more than that, though. It wasn't just a heating pad. It was 2 or 3 things that he threw on the court, and he was 3 for 18 in the game. He was frustrated, and that'll get you suspended. I thought it was an interesting... Does anyone else think that's interesting? Now, it is an anonymous executive because nobody would say that about Adam Silver on the record, but the idea that Jamal Murray wasn't suspended in that situation only because Denver needed Jamal Murray because they're down 0-2 and you can't have everyone thinking what Bill Simmons and Colin Cowherd said was so. When that series is super interesting, you want that series to go 7 games.
You want it to go 7 games. I'm not certain if you're the NBA, you don't want Minnesota to win that series, though, because you want Anthony Edwards to continue. You want that storyline to continue because we've had the Jokic storyline already. So.
Sure, but would you rather have it end in 7 where you can get more eyeballs, more people in the stadium, or end in 4 if Jamal Murray, their second best player, is out?
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Did you lock up? Did you leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime when I'm all over the place, is incredible. Because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor. Before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, no contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Le Batard. Stugotz.
Every cup game.
And what?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Were you guys as interested in that game as I was, or did you all go to sleep early because you were watching Caitlin Clark and the Panthers and you didn't have time for the late game?
No, I watched all of this game. I kind of wish Kevin Harlan had chest bumped or something. Like it feels like there should have been some sort of handshake. They were both staring each other down, and I wish they had really just gone for it.
Well, I don't think they were staring each other down because Harlan was getting up and screaming in his direction, and it looks like he was yelling at Murray. But Murray's gaze is directly on a stunned Reggie Miller, a stupefied Reggie Miller. Can you guys tell me, outside of Stugotz's list of Michael Jordan highlights, can you guys give me, by degree of difficulty, a shot you've seen in your life more difficult than the one Jamal Murray made? I was surprised he even stayed in bounds, Stugotz.
Right.
That he was even able to stay in bounds, going to his left like that and being 3/4 of the court away from the rim and shooting it that perfectly as if all of that was planned, as if that's something that he practiced, when I thought he was just going to go out of bounds and the half was going to end that way. Can you guys give me a shot that you remember anywhere that the degree of difficulty would have been more, that you could argue was more than that
in
one?
the NBA? I played some games of horse where I tell you, some of them you do the no look over the head, one hand backwards. Right. Sometimes you're going, there's like a patch of concrete, you jump off the patch of concrete over a chair to go like this, and then if it's situation.
So you feel like you've made one that's got a greater degree of difficulty in horse.
Honestly, there should be professional horse. Horse is more entertaining than basketball, regular basketball. Is it not? Am I wrong?
You are wrong.
You could watch trick shot videos on YouTube to your heart's
content.
content.
Thank you.
How about the Wade game winner at the very end against the Warriors? Remember, he got the ball back and then he double clutched and threw it off. I mean, that's
you're saying that was a better shot.
I mean, it's just in terms of awkwardness.
But how about Billy's?
He didn't see it, though. He didn't watch the game. How about the Jokic one where he gets it, turns around, throws it above his head, bank shot, goes
Anthony
in for
Davis,
the win.
Over Anthony Davis twice.
Dan, I got to tell you, I owe Denver an apology because you brought something up. They're down 0-2. They're going on the road, and that's where champions kind of shine. They'll get themselves back into the series. I didn't think Denver had that in them. I don't know what I'm doing with Jokic and Murray and Aaron Gordon as well, who was great, not just in Game 4, but also Game 3. I did not think Denver had that in them. They were going to go on the road, tie the series at 2 games apiece, and bring it home for a pivotal Game 5. I love a pivotal Game 5. I do.
What you are doing with Jokic is the same thing you've been doing with Jokic, which is pronouncing his name incorrectly. So you don't respect him enough to even pronounce his name correctly.
The Joker.
He's he's a three-time MVP.
I know.
And again, 35-7-7 last night on the road when they need to save their season against a team uniquely qualified to throw giant, difficult bodies at him. It is impressive to watch. But let's go back for a second to WFAT. Because Stugotz has to be wounded today. The Knicks and Pacers game was not in any way interesting. And now Stugotz is officially scared.
Well, I'm terrified. I mean,
that's why it is interesting, because Knicks fans are scared, and I love that.
We should be scared. I mean, we have 3.5 players, and Obi Toppin's playing out of his mind. I mean, it's crazy.
That Pacers offense has been good all year, though. That's what they do.
I know.
But that's what they do at home. It's not, they're bad on the road, and 6 seeds, 10. Teams like the Pacers, I remember this happened with the 42-40 Heat team that didn't want to trade Brian Grant for Shaq. People fell in love with that team. It couldn't win road games, was totally incapable. It was a Dwayne Wade, Brian Grant, Lamar Odom team, incapable of winning road games. The Pacers, they're undefeated in the postseason at home, and have they won a game on the road? Did they win one of the Milwaukee games on the road? I think they did.
They did.
Maybe they did, but it was. I think it was the game that both Giannis and Lillard were out, and teams with 2 leading scorers out to that point were 0-13, and then the next game, the Bucks drilled them. The Pacers are a bad road team.
Thinking of the watch party that we did, Stack has changed my perception of Pascal Siakam, I think, forever.
He really has.
He's like, hey, he has no bag. He's trash. He's garbage. And I'm like, nah, Siakam's pretty good. Like, I like his interior moves and stuff. I was watching the game. There was one play where he gets the ball in the middle of the paint, kind of does like 2 pump fakes with nobody around him, hits a fadeaway shot and bricks it. I was like, ooh, he's not that good, is he?
He is a rugged, I think Stat called him a 2.5, not a 1, not a 2, a 2.5.
Because someone here called him a 1.
Right.
And he's like, no, more like a 2.5.
He's not a 1. There's no way he's 30 years old either. I mean, that guy looks like he's 64 years old. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's some of that stuff with foreigners can be dangerous. We've been doing it a lot. I think we started with.
I said I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did say you were sorry, but not before you said it without apology. You said it first and then immediately apologized. And
how do I do that moving forward?
Well, don't say it. I would say it would be the way to go instead of apologizing insincerely immediately after saying it because you just wanted to say it.
It's fair. I mean, I should watch the games.
That too. That would help. But Siakam is physically strong and will go into the paint with his elbows and shoulders and will knock
much else.
Will knock you over and will hit some mid-range jumpers after bumping you off of him. And at the end of games, it's Nembhard who's going to be taking the shots because Siakam is not Kawhi Leonard and was better as a 2 next to Kawhi Leonard. But the Knicks never got to within 27 in the second half of the Pacers yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you want these games to be close. The Knicks have played almost nothing but close games. Josh Hart, Stugotz gave them nothing. But he did, before the game, say something.
He looked like Josh Hart again.
Well, it's weird, right? Josh Hart is 17 rebounds over here, 19 points over here. And what did he do yesterday? 2 points? He didn't do
2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
Yeah, just
Josh Hart.
A weird game. After every game this postseason, he's put up some statistical line that you're like, whoa. I think somebody, who was it that was talking? Was it Goldsberry was talking that he was shooting like 30% from 3 before he injured his wrist, and then the wrist got injured and his shot stopped being crooked. Then he started shooting like 40-something% from 3.
He needs to injure that wrist again.
It reminded me of like Shane Battier was in a terrible slump, and in the finals he just said, "You know what? I'm going to aim a little left now. I'm just off, and so I'm going to aim like to miss and see if that works." And then he made a bunch of threes. But Josh Hart, I thought, did the pay the whales, save the teachers, and I know I'm saying that wrong. He said
I think you got it right, actually.
The perfect thing, Stugotz, to get fans on his side when you're trying to be lovable. They're asking him about all the minutes that he's playing, and he says, people get up at 6 a.m., 12-hour shifts.
Attaboy.
Those people are tired. We're playing a game.
Well done, man.
It's good. It's just giving the customer exactly what the customer. That should be a part of your ticket. It should come on your ticket, a quote where a player tells you how hard your job is compared to his. Like they should sell that on the Game Time app. It's like if you want to feel better about your team and how much you've paid for the ticket, print on it a quote from one of the players saying your job is harder than his job is.
Dan, what we do is we combine forces of like a Game Time and a Cameo where you buy your ticket on Game Time and then you get a personalized Cameo from Josh Hart saying, buddy, your job is way harder than what we're doing.
I work hard, you work harder.
Exactly right.
Yes. Love it.
But Josh Hart isn't even saying that. He's not even saying he works hard. He's just saying people get up at 6 a.m., 12-hour shifts. Those people are tired. We're playing a game. It is the perfect. I'm telling you, if I could put one quote in a PR class for players, I'd just say, you know what? Do you want a great marketing deal? Don't worry about how well you're playing. Just say that again and again anytime someone puts a microphone in front of your face to any question. Anything you're being asked, just say some form of how hard the customer's job is compared to yours.
Those customers work at Goldman Sachs. I mean,
the ones with the good seats in New York. Yes, they not only work at Goldman Sachs, many of them are involved in schemes because the scheme is having a renaissance throughout American Greed. My father the other day says to me, turns to me, "Have you seen that show, American Greed?" I'm like, "Yes, it's amazing." He's like, "I'm watching it all night. I can't stop watching it." Yes, America's filled with scammers who are trying to get a shortcut to easy money because they don't want to get up at 6 a.m. and work 12-hour shifts so that their jobs make them more tired than
Thank
heart.
you. Yeah.
Stacey Keach with the voiceover there is incredible, by the way. I love that.
Stugotz is, put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is Stugotz the stubbled face of American greed? You love your shortcuts.
I'm voting yes on that.
Yes. Roy, I watched the game.
Did you?
That tying goal was goaltender interference.
Roy, we got a little lucky there. Come on.
GI.
Folks, listen up. I want to talk to you about PXG and their new Black Ops driver. You no longer have to sacrifice distance for accuracy, for forgiveness. Folks, those days are done. You get both of those things with this new driver because I went to one of their PXG locations and I tested it out myself. And my boy Mike over there, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, you got to go to that location. He took care of me there. It was quick. It was efficient. By the time I got into my car, I had my email where my clubs were going to be sent. I have them now. It is a beautiful thing. What an experience. The PXG Black Ops driver is a breakthrough in driver technology. It's complete, total victory in golf club engineering, unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's adjustable to deliver a combined MOI of 10,000. I'm telling you, that is ridiculously high. You got to check it out. The PXG Black Ops driver. You'll be as impressed as I was. Learn more and get free shipping on all the equipment at pxg.com/Dan. Use code Dan at checkout. That's pxg.com/Dan. Code Dan for free shipping on all equipment. pxg.com/Dan. Code Dan.
Dan Le Batard.
You know how these late season games are. We don't know. It's a big game for the Knicks. We have absolutely no idea how Boston will play it. I don't know who they'll play, who they won't play.
Stugotz.
Okay.
So, no,
all right, that's fine. That's an excellent promotion. You know, I love that. That's great.
Sold.
That's it. That's perfect advertising for the game, the national game on TV
I was
tonight.
going to watch. Now I'm not going to watch.
Shit, that was a shitty sales job.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Billy has analysis on the Timberwolves Nuggets series that I have not heard anywhere else in American media. There are a lot of people gathered around the trough here having opinions, giving you analysis, trying to stand out and be different. But Billy had a thought that I haven't heard any basketball expert have on that series.
Well, so someone reached out to us on social media and asked a great question that I had not considered, and I actually don't know the answer to this. And I'm in a room full of experts here, so I was wondering if maybe you guys would know. If Minnesota wins, does AROD get a ring?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, why not?
Because I don't think he owns the team.
Yeah, but Nomar Garciaparra, I think, got a Red Sox World Series ring, and he was traded to the Dodgers halfway through the season.
So he played some games for the Red Sox, but I guess...
Well, AROD promised to sign the checks, and I don't think ever did, but promised to, and, you know, showed up. Look, at the very least, AROD lived in Minnesota for some time, and that should count for something, right?
Agreed, yes.
Did he?
Yes.
Well, he was at a bunch of games, unless he was in and out, flying back home to Miami at night and then back to Minnesota the next day. Seems inefficient.
I don't think he has a home in Minnesota.
Well, maybe he leased it. Maybe he subletted. Maybe is it a,
perhaps
efficiency? Who knows?
I would recommend to the audience to listen to the recent episode that Pablo Torre did on Pablo Torre Finds Out on the giant business mess that is the Timberwolves ownership situation, because it's an ownership situation. Like, it's bad, where Glenn Taylor's been a bad owner for a long time. And then as soon as AROD gets in, the team is better than it's ever been.
That's what I'm saying. So does he get a ring or not?
It looks like AROD took up a residence on the shores of Lake Winnetonka. How about that? In Minnesota.
Took up residence?
Yeah.
He was there like on Friday.
And it's Minnetonka. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You made it Winnetonka?
It's a camp, yeah.
It can be
Winnetonka
if they get to the championships.
Isn't the land of 10,000 lakes? Maybe there is a lake with that name.
You never seen Purple Rain?
No.
Oh, man.
I just can't unhear Joe Biden saying Minnesota whenever we talk about Minnesota. That's my contribution to this
Thank you,
conversation.
Jessica.
I think he gets a ring.
I do not. Well, he gets a ring if he installs himself as owner again. There's no way if he's fighting with Glenn Taylor's going to, it's messy. The reason I'm telling you to listen to what Pablo Torre is saying, because this fight is a good one. You don't normally get to see these ownership fights. This stuff always happens in the shadows. Power ends up being something that doesn't get seen when it's misbehaving. And the way these guys are fighting over the team is something that's super messy. And Pablo went into the weeds on the business of of it. It's difficult subject matter, and he tackled it very well. And I would answer that no. I would say that there is no circumstance in which Glenn Taylor would give AROD a ring unless he gives AROD the team. If he gives AROD the team, then AROD can give himself a ring if he'd like.
AROD posted a video of him shoveling snow during a snowstorm in Minnesota, shoveling the driveway. I mean, feels like he's deserving.
That earns you a ring right there.
Yeah.
Dan, I didn't watch the Pablo Torre finds out thing, but I did see a graph that had like numbers on it, and I was like, ooh, because the number graph thing, I didn't really want to do that one.
Yeah.
But I do think he's got like a minority percentage ownership in the Wolves, but he tried to buy it to where he was a majority owner of the Wolves. Am I correct?
Who?
AROD.
No, the opposite. The former owner was selling it to them, and then he secretly went behind their back and he bought out a minority owner. So even if they got everything that they were going to buy, he'd still be the majority owner.
Okay, so I didn't listen. But the point is, he's still a minority owner, right? That means he should get a ring as a minority owner.
He may indeed still be a minority owner.
I thought something. I thought something happened where they lost like all of their stake. We should probably listen to this episode.
Yes,
and
that's
have some.
or just have others do it. Well, put it on the poll at Batard Show. Do you avoid things that are that have numbers and graphs? Give me the stat of the day music.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Speaking of not getting rings, this isn't the stat of the day, but Wes Welker played 8 years with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and never won a ring. It's one of the great stats in sports, but it's not the one I'm going to here. This one I think is better. There are 4 teams in the AFC East. That's not the stat of the day.
That's a fact.
That is a fact. There are 4 teams in the AFC East. Do you want to guess where it is the Jets rank in division titles?
Second.
What?
5th.
What?
5th among 4 teams because the Colts used to be in the AFC East, and I'd forgotten all about that.
Right.
It's been so long that I had simply forgotten that the AFC East used to have 5 teams in it, and so therefore the Colts have won more AFC Easts than the Jets have.
Peyton Manning started his career in the AFC East.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That is correct.
You're going back to like Burt Jones, though. I mean,
I'm going back a ways, but not that far, because Peyton Manning, as he said, as Roy said, started in the AFC East, and that's where some of those were won. I'm looking here for the credit on that, and I cannot find it. That is not my stat. It is somebody else's stat, and I will find it and give the credit where it is due.
Just give him a ring.
Stats don't belong to people.
That's right.
They're facts. This is a fact, Jack. I mean, someone took the time to look it up for whatever reason, but like you go to Wikipedia and you go to AFC East or whatever and division titles by whatever. Tony, do it right now. Then it becomes your stat.
Thank you.
It's just there. It's information. Like today's temperature is 98 degrees. That's not something I own. It's a fact.
And it's 89 in the studio.
Neil Driscoll is the person who had the stat, and we should try to credit people when they look this stuff up
Neil.
Instead of stealing the
but
stats.
to Billy's point, where did Neil get it from?
Exactly right.
Did he credit somebody?
Well, he may have.
Neil didn't make it up.
Well, he may have looked it. He may have looked it up. Like earlier in the show, I looked up that how many because the Knicks have
Dan,
played.
you don't have to defend crediting
Yeah.
a source. You just
No,
don't
you
have to
do.
do it. This is not a good faith
Exactly
argument
right.
from
Well,
anyone
Neil
else
does.
in the room.
Neil didn't invent electricity here. You know what I mean?
Such a journalist.
They're not writers. They don't understand. You credit your sources.
Nah.
Well, it also takes the responsibility of being wrong off of you.
Valid.
as well.
And
now you like it. Now you guys like it.
easily.
Journalism's too confusing. Sometimes you credit your sources. Sometimes you're not allowed to. So it seems you pick and choose whenever you want. This time I say my source. Next time I don't say my source. Sometimes I make stuff up and I just say I have sources, but I can't reveal them and no one can verify that. It's exhausting.
WFAT.
Earlier in the show, the stat I gave you about the Knicks was something that I personally looked up. It's not something that...
Did you credit yourself?
Yeah. I didn't credit myself. I was able to just say
In this
it.
case, Billy's source is meaning a citation, not a person.
See?
But a person can...
Now the
be
same
a
word means
citation.
two different things.
I hated that shit, writing papers,
Oh, the
sourcing.
worst.
God,
Yeah.
I just wrote anything.
Plagiarism. I mean, try to avoid that.
What do you mean you just wrote it?
No, he's right
It's
about
like
that. I
the
know what he's talking
formatting. It was just like,
The bibliography
it's just
page, like, give me a break.
I hated that page.
What?
What?
The bibliography page.
No, he's right.
I know exactly what
Tough
when you
one.
write
Yeah.
a paper, you gotta like put this shit at the end of where you found shit.
No, a bibliography is a story about a person.
No, the
and then if you
bibliography
write it
page,
yourself, it's an
Billy.
autobibliography.
I know it's like my boy Cook. Stupid page. Just believe what I write.
There is so...
MLA format can go to hell.
Oh God.
Thank you.
There is nothing surprising about everything that's happening in the irresponsibility, the general inaccuracies of the room. Too tired to be responsible, too lazy to actually credit people or do anything that resembles work so that people can trust you as credible and accurate.
Yeah. Cut us some slack, Dan. We're in the middle of a hockey run. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone's exhausted and won't stop.
So after the hockey run, Chris will tell us how much he loved making citations.
After the hockey
Sure
runs,
he will. I have faith in him.
we'll
yes.
give Neil
Yeah,
Driscoll
right.
all the credit he deserves.
After the hockey run, Chris will sit down and write a book, an autobibliography, as Billy likes to call it. I saw something from Isospeda on Twitter, Stugotz, that I thought was pretty damn great. And it's the rare Cavs coverage from our show because we haven't done much with the Cavs so far this postseason. But Tony, tell me if you don't think this is correct. He writes, I think Karis LeVert has a wheel in his head with a collection of random NBA players anywhere from Michael Jordan to Anthony Bennett, and he spins it every possession to see who he's going to play like.
That's good.
He never plays like Jordan. Let's be
There's
honest.
some plays
No,
where
he
he's
does
incredible. And I'm like,
Never,
oh.
never.
He
Don't
does
you dare say
sometimes,
that.
Stugotz.
I care about
just
you,
when
Dan.
the wheel lands in his head, that one possession. It's not very much, but every once in a while, for a single possession, it lands on Jordan, and that's who he plays like.
The Jordan sliver is a little smaller, so when it hits him, he's like, oh, perfect, I got one.
Mike Breen is going to join us, and I'm going to try and play a fun game with Mike Breen where I play his bangs back to him because I want to see if he recognizes what they sound like when he made them, where he was emotional.
Is that legal?
Playing his bangs back to him.
How do you have that?
Right. You mean the call?
Dissemination?
No, I mean the sex.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean the sex tapes.
Okay. Is that legal?
Who owns the word bang?
Breen.
Oh, good.
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think you just say things, don't credit anybody, and often get it wrong.
When you think bang, who do you think of?
Adam West.
Ron
Wow.
Jeremy.
Wow.
Bros.
Wow. Huh.
So was it Isospeda or Isospida?
It might be Isospida.
Oh, no.
PETA, Dan?
He's hungry.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that.
I was asking.
Yeah, I said it wrong.
It's okay.
Pete are the animal people. You don't want to cross them.
Also the bread.
Yeah.
Love pita bread.
Another one of those words that means two different things.
So you're going to play bangs back for Breen is
That's
what you're going
correct.
to do.
Because I believe that what I saw from him in Game 3 of Pacers Knicks is the most guttural bang I've ever heard. He was surprised, I think, and as we all were. I mean, what the hell is Nembhard doing taking that shot? What's he doing making that shot? And I believe that Mike Breen went and grabbed that bang straight from his nether regions, and I think it caught him off guard. I don't think he expected to do that. I don't think he wanted to do that. I think he was made sad by that shot, but the whole thing startled him. He's a veteran, and I just think that he got rattled, and I believe it's the loudest bang I've ever heard from him.
He said it with his chest.
No, it wasn't his chest. It was lower. It was lower. It was not his chest. It was. We'll ask him, but I believe it's the most emotional bang I've ever heard from him, and I'm going to claim that it's because he didn't want to be biased or seen as biased, and so he went an extra step.
Stugotz here from my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Did you lock up? Did you leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime when I'm all over the place, is incredible. Because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor. Before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, no contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Ever combine an ice-cold frozen Coke with piping hot fries? Try frozen drinks any size for $1.49. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.